Now, MPs are calling for the body mass index to be dropped as a tool in determining whether or not someone is a healthy weight, over concerns it contributes to eating disorders. The Women and Equalities Committee said the government's obesity strategy is dangerous for those with a negative body image and could even trigger an eating disorder in some. Well, I'm joined now by Natasha Devon, a mental health and body image campaigner who used to work as the government czar for children's mental health, as well as Zoe Burnett, who has previously struggled with anorexia. Welcome to you both. To you, first of all, Natasha, just briefly, in layman's terms, describe what BMI is and how useful you think it is.
Well, BMI stands for Body Mass Index, and it's a calculation that your doctor would do based on your height and your weight. The problem with BMI is that it was developed using Caucasian men, and there are all kinds of evolutionary reasons why women's bodies are different from men's bodies, and also black and mixed race people tend to have a higher muscle density than white people. So BMI is not fit for purpose for lots of people for whom it's being used on. It's a very blunt tool. And so you have this situation where people who are not overweight or who are very healthy, lead a very healthy lifestyle, are being told by their doctors that in order to be healthy, they have to lose weight. And sometimes that means that other conditions which are not related to their weight are being misdiagnosed.
And Zoe, tell us how the reading of your BMI led to you having difficulties.
I originally went into the doctors because I know now that it was an eating disorder. I explained to the doctor all my behaviours, all my symptoms, and he actually said to me that I wasn't slim enough to have an eating disorder. And that hurt. And now, as I'm recovered, I'm trying to recover in a world that is constantly telling me that my body is wrong, because now I am living in an overweight body according to that BMI. And every time I go to the doctors, I am reminded that I'm not healthy just because I don't fit into that box, when actually I am more healthy now than what I've ever been.
And you were told eventually that you had something called atypical anorexia. What was that exactly? How would you describe that?
Atypical anorexia, for me, I forgive the phrase, but I ticked every box you would associate with having anorexia. I was engaged in all the behaviours, I was having a lot of the physical symptoms. However, my weight remained in the normal category. So just because my weight was normal, I wasn't entitled to the same treatment as someone who was underweight.
Natasha, that displays expertly just how much more there is to mental health and eating disorders than the BMI, the actual stats, the figures.
Well, I mean, eating disorders are a psychological illness. They are categorized by distress and behaviors around food and exercise. So I don't know why we would ever use weight to try and measure that and to try and determine the severity. But I do have to say at this stage, I think that there has been a perception for a long time that this is something that's only relevant to people who experience eating disorders, and that those people are a relatively small percentage of the population. Let me just put this in context with a statistic that I think really drives it home. 97% of calorie-controlled diets fail insofar as the person will not lose weight long-term, and they're likely to put on more weight than they lost. But 1 in 5 people who goes on a calorie-controlled diet goes on to develop disordered eating. So statistically, you are far more likely to develop an unhealthy relationship with your body, food and exercise than you are to lose weight if you don't acknowledge the psychological aspects of health and weight management.
And so when you were told that you were too slim to have an eating disorder, what did that do to you emotionally? How did you feel?
I was told I wasn't slim enough to have an eating disorder. And again, that just played into those core beliefs, all those negative thoughts that I already had of myself. And it just drilled home that, oh, well, the only thing that matters about me is my weight, surely, when obviously that is not true. I am so much more than my weight.
And how bad did it get? At one point in hospital, you were told that, your heart could fail and that you could die.
Yes, that was 2 weeks after I'd visited the GP asking for help. and being turned away because I wasn't slim enough. I was collapsing at work on a daily basis nearly, and I got admitted into hospital, and I was concerned about my heart, but I couldn't understand what was going on because, again, my weight was healthy, so surely I must be healthy. Everyone just kept focusing on this box, on his BMI, when, as we've shown, it's just not relevant. I could have lost my life just because everyone was so focused on that BMI chart instead of looking at me as a whole person.
Natasha, what do we need to be doing instead then? You've obviously made it clear that in your view, the body mass index doesn't work, it's not relevant, but what should it be replaced with, if anything?
Well, I was really encouraged in the body image report released by the APPG to see them mention the Health at Every Size movement. This works on the basis that you could take two people, feed them exactly the same diet, make them do exactly the same amount of exercise, and because of genetics and hormones and environment, those two people would still end up looking different from one another because the human body is very diverse. So instead of focusing endlessly and obsessively on people's weight, what we should instead be looking at is their lifestyle and giving people access to healthy lifestyle choices. So I think we should be focusing on this mantra, and this is what I tell young people all the time when we're doing body image lessons. Health is about your lifestyle, not how you look, and trying to take weight really out of the equation.
So you're nodding your head there. Does that sound like a solution, a possible solution, maybe one of many?
Absolutely. I will continue to preach this until I am blue in the face. Eating disorders in particular are a mental illness. And by removing that BMI, we start focusing on the real mental elements that go with an eating disorder. You know, it comes with low self-esteem and body image issue, food around thought shapes and weight. And we should be focusing on that when realising whether to diagnose someone with an eating disorder. So yes, please take away the BMI and let's focus on the mental elements, please.
Zoe, just very quickly, how's your health now?
I'm really, really well now. I don't think I've ever been this well. So I've gone off on a tangent. One of the things that I was told was due to not fueling my body, I was told I was never able to have kids. And upstairs, I've got a little 6-month-old that I'm praying is still asleep. And I never thought that would be possible.
Oh, that's a wonderful positive note to end on. And congratulations. Stay well. You too, Natasha. Thank you very much for speaking to me.
Thank you.
Lovely positive end to that story there. And if you've been affected by any of the issues we've just been discussing, you can contact the eating disorder charity BEAT. Their contact details are on the bottom of the screen for you there.